Hey everyone, and welcome to another bowl game preview episode of Big Ten Talk, the second today. I am here and joined with Clint Cosgrove, the co-founder of ProPath Management. How are you doing this morning, Clint?
I'm fantastic, Emily. How are you?
I am doing really well, and I'm super excited to kind of talk with you and kind of preview these three bowl games. But before we get into it, I would love for you to kind of just tell viewers and tell the audience a little bit about what it is you do.
Yeah. What is it that I do? I work in football. I know that. No, I've spent my whole entire career working in the college football space, the recruiting space. I was a college football coach for I think like 7 seasons. Nebraska, Minnesota, Dartmouth. Then I got into scouting for 8 years. Then I was in the media. I was with Yahoo Sports and Rivals.com. And now I have, as you said, I'm co-founder of ProPath Management. We are an athlete management group that functions in the NIL space. So we represent players, we build their brands, we try to build brands that transcend football. Work with your higher end of athletes, guys that are going to play on Sundays, guys that are looking for marketing opportunities, branding opportunities. We kind of hold their hand through the process, and we work for them. And so it's anything from NIL and contracts and negotiating all of that to if they want to be in a commercial with a brand that really resonates with them, we try to get that for them. So it's building something that transcends the sport. And a lot of the job is mentoring. It's a little bit of everything, mentoring, recruiting. It kind of crosses, not crosses, but it kind of connects everything I've done in my life. And it's a lot of fun. I love working with the kids. It's crazy that they're kids. They're my bosses now. But yeah, I partnered with a music management company that works with big groups like Chainsmokers, Mumford and Sons, and we basically took the model of how they manage their A-list clients on the music side and brought it over to the sports side. So I'm working with a great group of people. It's been a lot of fun. NIL is never not interesting. Things are changing.
I imagine.
But yeah, no, it's an exciting space to be in at an exciting time. It's obviously not perfect, but yeah, that's the space that I've chosen, and that's the space I work in, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. It sounds incredibly fascinating and interesting, and it sounds like you're also incredibly busy. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but I
it can
imagine
be
it's really
both.
fascinating. Yeah. I imagine it's really fascinating kind of just seeing the general landscape of college football change from the beginning of your career in sports to where it is now. I'm sure that's filled with tales to tell.
Oh, there's a lot of tales.
Right.
I'll say this: I never thought I'd be working in the NIL space. I did want to be an agent coming out of college at one point if I wasn't going to go into football coaching, but I was never anti NIL, but I didn't. It just seemed dirty at first, and
Yeah.
once you get used to it and working in it, it's totally a lot different than it's portrayed out there. It's definitely changed the game. I wouldn't say always for the best ways, but it has changed for the good in some ways, and that's part of why I'm a part of it to try to make it work.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited that you're here today. Super excited to talk about these bowl games. And I figured we would kick things off kind of previewing and discussing the ReliaQuest Bowl featuring Iowa and Vanderbilt. So, to kind of get us started, I would love to hear your general thoughts on this matchup.
I mean, this is going to be a cool game.
I agree. I think this is one of the more interesting matchups that feature a Big Ten team with this bowl season.
Yeah, I mean, like it's going to be a fun one to watch. Both these teams are going to play really hard. Iowa, they're just built that way. They go about
Yeah.
their business. They're not flashy. They're going to beat you with defense. They're going to try to bull you down with the running game, and then they're really good on special teams. And they're good at these. They kind of do it the same way every year. They don't stray far from the plan. So it's going to be a good physical football game. And then Vanderbilt. I mean, there's not too much you can't say about their season this year. They've been phenomenal. Diego and his antics always make things interesting. I know some of the guys on that Iowa defense, including the coaches. I'm sure they're ready to get after him. But what a story. Clark Lee's such a great coach. He's done such a great job. You don't see this happen a ton. I want to say it happens in college football. You've seen it with Indiana, but you don't see the long kind of, I shouldn't even say it's long. It seems long nowadays, but Clark's been there for a few years, and you don't
Yeah.
see coaches get this much time to really break out like this nowadays. And so he's such a phenomenal person, such a phenomenal coach, has built a heck of a roster. I mean, both sides, but I think it's going to be a really good game. I know that defense, with Iowa, they're so good, but I think the one way that you can beat them is with a running quarterback.
Yeah.
And, you bring that aspect into the game, and obviously Vanderbilt has that. So I think that makes things interesting. Whenever you don't have an extra hitter, because the quarterback takes that away, it's 11 on 11 offense and defense. And, I think that's where, Vanderbilt could give them some fits. I know the lines started like -4. It's -5.5 now. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a low scoring, one score game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you never know. Iowa creates explosive plays on defense. They create explosive plays on special teams. They get short fields sometimes. And so they can end up scoring a bunch of points. And Vanderbilt has all of the ammunition to score a bunch of points. But I just see it being a lower scoring game and, some hard hitting, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I think Iowa's going to be really focused on obviously containing this Vanderbilt offense, but I do think the matchup of like Iowa defense versus this Vandy offense is incredibly fascinating. And yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be on the lower scoring side. And I think like maybe like a one score game. But I think this is one of the more competitive and fascinating matchups that we're seeing in this bowl season. So I'm really looking forward to it. Do you have like, so if Iowa wants to win this game, let's say that, like kind of taking a look at Vandy's offense, if Iowa wants to win this game, what do they have to go into that game doing?
Well, I mean, their blueprint is stop the run, try to make the quarterback beat them with their arm. And so I don't think we're going to see it change much from that. It's just, Diego brings a new dynamic that Iowa doesn't or hasn't seen to that level of, his ability as a thrower and a passer. But what I would do if I'm Iowa, I would try to contain him and make him throw the ball. As stupid as that sounds, and the numbers he's put up as a quarterback, don't let him get out of the pocket, contain him, and, try to make him throw with his feet set. As weird as that sounds, play solid defense, show him different looks. I mean, he's a smart guy and everything like that. But I think the key is, and you don't hear it a lot, it's like take away the quarterback's feet and you can not make them one dimensional, but you take away the game breaking aspect that Diego brings to the team. Now they're both going to play good defense, but like if I'm Iowa, I'm trying to hit Diego. I'm trying to hit him often. I'm trying to hit him hard, and I'm not trying to let him get out of the pocket. Because you can have the perfect call every single time, but if you get that quarterback on the run, and whether it's to run or throw, and just the extra added element of the quarterback as a rusher, you've got to take his feet out of the game. And so as long as they can do that, I think Iowa can have a very good chance of winning this game. But you can't let Diego run all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of taking a look at both sides of the ball with both of these teams, who do you think has a shot at walking away as the ReliaQuest Bowl champion?
I mean, I just
You
feel
don't have
like
to give
I
me a
was
score
built for.
prediction, but kind of just like who are you leaning towards?
Yeah, I was built for this game. I mean, Vanderbilt, it's a hard one for me. I wouldn't bet it, but I would probably pick Iowa here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it'll be a dogfight. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a good competitive game. And I'm going to give the edge to the Big Ten team,
There you
which
go.
hasn't been my trend, actually. It has not been my trend in all of
Breaking
these bowl game
trend
previews.
right
I
out the
know,
gate.
but I will give the edge to that Big Ten team. But yes, awesome. So we're going to move forward to the Citrus Bowl featuring Michigan and Texas. Would love to hear your general thoughts on this matchup.
Oh gosh, what kind of thoughts do you want? Because it is interesting.
Yes, it is interesting for sure.
Yeah. So when I look at games, and really all bowl games in general, from my time as a coach, growing up as a coach's kid, I was around a lot of bowl games, uh, and being on teams, and so anything can happen in bowl games already.
Right.
Uh, but then you throw in the mess of this bowl game, and it started obviously, unfortunately, with Coach Moore, and um, I just know the players are angry right now. There's a lot of scandal around the game. I would have said, this was kind of like a helmet game from
Yeah.
the beginning. You got Texas, you got Michigan. But the off-field antics have kind of taken over the show here. The thing that's crazy is Texas now comes in with a bunch of opt-outs as well,
I
mostly on the
know.
defensive side, I think.
Yeah.
And then you've got Michigan where you don't know what's going to show up. Biff Pogge's done a great job with them and kind of he's the guy to rally the troops. So I do think that Michigan could this could go either way. I mean, the
Yeah.
wheels could totally fall off. They could be down there like, hey, let's just have fun at the Citrus Bowl. And you never know what they're doing if they get a week down there.
Right.
In Texas coming off of a somewhat disappointing by their standard season or what they were hoping for, I know. So which teams show up is going to be the biggest thing here for me. Does Texas show up like, hey, we're ready? I know Arch is going to be all about business and you never have to worry about that with him. Now he might not play a great game.
Right.
But I think he's going to be dialed in. They've got some weapons in Wingo. You don't know what you're going to find from the defense. You don't know. I mean, it's just one of those games. There's so many questions. It's
Lots of question marks,
a
right?
kerfuffle.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of question marks. When I was talking about this game, even a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking that Texas would pull away with the win. But then you mentioned the opt-outs and just all the antics kind of involving Michigan and just this matchup in general. It kind of is a toss-up for me. And I would love like before the regular season began, did you expect Texas to be a playoff team?
I was sold on it.
Yeah.
I know they had the talent. I know that anytime you're coming in, I mean, as talented as Arch is, anytime you're coming in with a first-year quarterback,
Right.
there's a learning curve there, and then you lose right out the gate. You're not doing yourself any favors by playing Ohio State
No.
right out the gate. And so, yeah, I thought they would be a playoff team. I never thought they were a top 3 team. And they're talented enough. I just don't think they're there yet. I think they're a year away. Now, next year, I think could be their year.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you part of the crowd that thought Michigan was gonna be a playoff team going into the season?
No, freshman quarterback
Yeah.
anytime. I don't care how talented he is. Underwood is. I've been watching him in person since he was a freshman in high school. I mean, he's a brilliant talent, and they have such a good run game
Yeah.
that I thought they had a chance. I just thought they lost too much. Too many young new guys. But they're strong on defense. Underwood's making plays with his legs. The biggest jump that I've seen in first year starters can often come in that bowl game prep. So they finally settled in. They've played a full season. I mean, this goes for Arch too.
Totally.
And it's their team at that point, So this is almost like going into next season. Now there's a bunch of question marks in Michigan, like who's going to be there, everything like that. But I just think with the Michigan running game, I always thought they were going to be a contender. I did not 100% see them as a playoff team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know that was there was a lot of chatter around that at the beginning of the season about Michigan possibly being a playoff team. And it's not ever something I was fully sold on, but I kind of just assumed Texas would be a playoff team. And I was obviously very wrong in that. But kind of like what we've seen, especially in the latter part of this regular season, is that Arch Manning is playing better.
Yep.
So kind of what you just alluded to, this bowl game can be a really big moment for him to shine and kind of carry that energy into next season, which could be incredibly beneficial for Texas. So yeah. Who do you give the edge to in this game? Who do you think pulls away with the win? I actually think now that I'm talking to you, I think I'm back on my God, they have so many opt-outs, but I feel like Arch Manning might play a good game and they could get the win.
Yeah. I mean, so Michigan's run game is so good.
Yeah.
They're so solid in their run game. Now, do you know if Justice Haynes is even playing? Like he had the foot surgery.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure.
Yeah. So I know they were originally kind of hoping he would, but if he were to play, and Jordan Marshall's a phenomenal back too, but it's the 1-2 punch that makes them really good. If Justice Haynes, and in my opinion, he's up there with, Ahmad Hardy, Jeremiah Love, these top backs in the nation. Had he not got hurt, I think it's a little different game. You're putting a little more pressure on the quarterback. a young quarterback. I'm always thinking about the mentality of the teams when it comes to these. And I just think
Yeah.
Michigan's out with something to prove. So my head, all right, my head tells me Texas wins this game. My heart says Michigan is either going to party all week and show up and not ready to play, or they're going to show up with a chip on their shoulder trying to prove something, saying, you know what, no one's bigger than the program. We are a team. We are bunkering down, kind of that war daddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna head says Texas, heart says Michigan. I'll take Texas here.
All right. I mean, I think that's fair. Yeah, absolutely. I like it. And then we have the Las Vegas Bowl
Woo.
featuring Nebraska and Utah. And let me just say, the entire Nebraska's interesting. Like the
Yeah.
direction in which that program is headed. There's some question marks. Their quarterback's now transferring. Um, just it's in a really fascinating state from an outside perspective. I mean, I would not be too happy probably if I was a fan of Nebraska, but from an outside perspective, it's just in a really fascinating state and kind of where is Matt Rule taking this program? So, did you expect this to be a good year for Nebraska, like better
No.
than what they had?
No. Um, would you like me to elaborate?
Sure. Yeah, I would actually, I'd
So,
love that.
no, I have experience with Nebraska.
Yeah.
I've lived in Nebraska. I've been on the staff at Nebraska. My dad was the defensive coordinator at Nebraska. At one point, we got ran out of town. I covered Nebraska.
Right.
I covered the Matt Rule coaching search. I know Nebraska pretty well, and I was not surprised. Like there's just this feeling of there's so much pressure, and it's such a pressure cooker in Lincoln,
Mhm.
and it's the biggest show in town. There is
Yeah.
nothing else. So like I feel, and this has gone on for years, they can put it together, but can't totally put it together. The players, I feel like they play a little like they're a little scared. And I don't mean scared of like, oh, I'm scared to get hit or I'm scared to go out and play. It's like there's always that if I mess up, there's
Mhm.
80,000 people staring at me and following every single thing that I do. And I really think that that is like a pressure cooker for a college kid. It's a fishbowl there. It is not as easy as it used to be to win at Nebraska as it was back in the day. So it's an interesting place. They love their football. They're passionate fans. The football players love playing for Nebraska until they don't. There's always a lot of pressure on the defensive coordinator. They just fired their
Yeah.
defensive coordinator, John Butler. Yeah, these teams are going in different directions. We got Raiola to the portal. His uncle was the O-line coach. The O-line was not very good this year. He's also in the coaching portal, I guess.
Yeah.
He is no longer with them. So you have a lot of changes. The stability, which was supposed to be your quarterback, is now gone. Emmett Johnson is also in the transfer portal, and he's what made this team run. Emmett Johnson is just an absolute beast of a back. Every team in the country is going to want him. And that's why this line continues to move, even though, you got Whittingham. Was it his last game?
Yeah.
Man, like he's one of the greats.
I know.
And so
Yeah.
I always had him to interview on the signing day show. So I got to know him through that when I was at Yahoo and Rivals. And he's just such a phenomenal coach. So yeah, two similar programs when you kind of look at the history of things in some ways, but two very different directions right now.
Right.
And this, I mean, any game Nebraska's in is always going to be, highly touted. There's going to be big fan base there. I think it has a chance to be a good game, but the state of Nebraska is a little confusing right now.
Yes, that's really well said. It is really confusing. And I'm going to be honest, the few times that I've kind of looked at this matchup and read about it and even thought about it, I don't necessarily see an outcome in which Nebraska wins. I mean, I could be wrong, but every time I think about it, and I wasn't even one of those that was super high on Utah this season. I know
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season, people really thought that they would take the conference and that they would have a really strong and dominant year. And I never necessarily thought that. I just think in this bowl game and kind of with it being their coach's last game, I think Utah's in a spot to really kind of pull away with a win against Nebraska.
Yeah, I could see this one potentially getting ugly.
Right.
Just with the state of Nebraska and like how respected Whittingham is. Uh,
Yes.
he's one of the all-time greats. He really is. He's going to have those guys ready to play. Never in a million years will he make the game about him. The players will make the game about him. They're so talented. I didn't know what to expect about Utah going into the year. I like the quarterback. Any quarterback that can run and throw the ball. I'm a fan of, because I hated defending them as a defensive coach. But then you have, the O line for Utah has got a couple first rounders on it. The run game. They're very similar to Iowa and how they're built. They're a little more
Yeah.
talented, I think, than Iowa right now. But yeah, I just with TJ Lateef at Nebraska, I think he has a bright future. Love him as a person. I think he's got a lot of upside as a player as well. And he's really, he was kind of thrust into a position that you never expected him to be in this year, because Raiola was the heart, soul, name, face of the
Right.
team. And then you have him popping in and really, he struggled his first game. He probably didn't expect to be getting in. Had a phenomenal game out at UCLA. So he's got the talent. It's just, are all the pieces going to be there? I know Nebraska and the coaching staff will do a really good job of making this like a Super Bowl, like rule. He's going to have them thinking the whole world's against them, that, everybody in the world's watching it like it is a Super Bowl. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a chip on their shoulder and play hard. But I just think there's going to be too much with Utah. 16.5 is getting pretty high. It started at 13.5. Spread wise, I would be willing to take Utah probably up into -16. I don't know if I would do minus
Yeah.
16.5.
I agree. I do. I think Nebraska might come out with a chip on their shoulder, and I think it could be a competitive game, but I think Utah pulls away with the win.
Yeah, no, this is the one. The other two, I think, are toss-ups. And I could be totally wrong. I have been before. Bowl season, crazy things happen, but totally. I see Utah probably, putting their foot on the neck come fourth quarter.
Totally. Yep. I agree. So I would love to hear your general thoughts kind of on the playoff picture right now in college football. Are there any potential matchups or maybe matchups we'll see this weekend that you are excited for, that you kind of are keeping your eye on? And then do you have a national championship prediction in terms of what two teams make it?
Gosh. I gotta look
I know. I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's good. I like it. I gotta find my playoff bracket. So my two teams. Well, let's talk about the Ducks real quick. And I've seen 3-year Letterman talking some smack to you.
He's a little obsessed, isn't he?
Hey, it's good smack. But that JMU game, I'm not too worried about, I would say, for Oregon. I think Oregon is, and there's some bias here, okay? I've watched Oregon as much as I've watched any team in the nation. Jeremiah McClellan is a client of mine. So that is the reason I've watched them so many times, but they are just so solid from top to bottom. They have so many weapons. Like, Jeremiah's had a good season, but they've got tons of guys.
Right.
The tight end, what's his name? Gosh.
Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, Sadiq. I was just talking with Jeremiah last night. We filmed something. I was like, is Sadiq? I was like, is he an awesome dude? He's like, amazing dude. I was like, because I absolutely love him, on the field. But they have so many weapons. I think they have a chance to go really far. I think they have as good a chance as anybody not named Ohio State to potentially win this.
Right.
And I just, I don't know. It's the other team that I've actually seen twice in person this year that I'm really big on is Miami. It'll be interesting to see how Marcel Reed comes out, coming off a little bit of a gimpy injury in the last game.
Right.
But the Miami Texas A&M game, I will definitely be watching.
Same.
That's a big one for me. I think that I don't want to say, I know it's a 7-10 seed, but I think the winner of that game could go pretty far. And then, the other game I'll be watching is, Oregon doesn't even play the first week, do they?
They play this Saturday against JMU.
Oh, It shows how
Yep.
much I know. Yeah. So Texas Tech is the other team that is very interesting to me,
Yeah.
just because of their defense. And if you can play defense in the playoffs, good things can happen. And have you seen Texas Tech play much this year?
I would say on the good, yeah, on the I've seen quite a bit of them actually this season.
Their defense is like scary good.
Yeah.
And so I think anytime you have a scary good defense, you put yourself in position to make a run. Um, but not both Oregon and Texas Tech can make a run. So if Oregon can go ahead and beat James Madison like they should,
Right.
and move into that game, I think that the winner of that game would then likely go on to play either Indiana, Oklahoma or Alabama.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Ohio State, I truly believe, and Indiana. Well, I guess Indiana beat Ohio State, so it's hard to not. I don't know if they play that game 10 times if that ends up happening.
Exactly.
But so it's hard to count Indiana out with the Heisman Trophy winner and just like the whole team concept. Georgia could win it, Indiana could win it, Texas Tech could win it.
It's a toss-up.
Oregon could win it. I've never seen so much parity when it comes to who is the top team. I remember when my dad was on the LSU staff back in 2019, like we had a pretty good idea they were going to be in the national championship. We had a pretty good idea that they would win.
Yeah.
And so until we saw a little, damaged armor from Ohio State in the Indiana game, and they still looked like the better team at the beginning, talent wise, which Ohio State's probably the most talented team in the country. But I really think it's a toss up. I'll be watching Oregon. I'll be watching Miami. I have another client going to Miami this year, Gavin Mueller, big time tight end. And I've gotten to see them in person a couple times, and I'm really impressed, especially with their freshman Malachi Toney. They're playing their best football right now. They got Carson back, throwing it all over the place. Mark Fletcher's a big time back. Hopefully he'll be at full speed when it comes into that. But yeah, no, I don't have like a pick to win it all. I mean, Ole Miss, you never know. They might come in with a chip on their shoulder. And Chambliss, he can throw the ball around. He can run the ball. You know how I feel about dual threat quarterbacks. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of verbal garbage there and blabbering. But I think this is as exciting as we've seen it. It truly is.
No, I agree. I think it'll be a very exciting playoff run, and I'm excited. So thank you so much for being here today, Clint, to talk about these bowl games with me, share a little of your expertise, and kind of talk a bit about what you do. It's been a lot of fun. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Oh, gosh, where can you find? I think I'm on Twitter.
Yes.
I am Clint C. What is it? I've changed it so many times.
It'll be in the description.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
I am _Clint C, or I am Clint _C. That's what it is.
That sounds
on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah. On Instagram, Threads. We talked about Threads the other day.
Yes.
Clint _Cosgrove. And
awesome.
You can usually find me talking crap on Twitter, posting content, or at games on Instagram and Threads.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm super excited for bowl season, and I appreciate you again, just kind of like talking it through. And I hope you have a great bowl season, and I hope you have a great holiday season as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily. Appreciate you having me on. You have a great bowl season. Hopefully your Ducks make a nice run. Jeremiah McClellan going to have a big run. I feel it.
Yes.
Go grab his tap card too.